Warriors Unite! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 in the 1% Club. I had a rainstorm here. I figured I'd sit in parking lot for a few minutes, so why not just do another video? So hope you guys are doing well. I don't have my old list, but I'm going to do a couple of shout outs for people of the new list. And we have an interesting topic as well. So let's go ahead and do some shout outs real fast here. Nathin Sijpkes, thank you. I hope I said that right. Going through cheating. We'll talk about that a little bit. Keep it going, my friend. Don't bother with what people do around you. All you can do is control your own reactions. That's one of the epic, tenets of Stoicism. Just keep going. Do your own thing. You can't control the people. If they want to cheat, if they don't want to be with you, I say the same thing. Then be with somebody else. But it's their loss. You've got to continue to move ahead and do your goals and be that masculine male. Which reminds me that someone also posted and asked about a masculine male, what that is. And we'll talk about that in another video as well. But a masculine male is someone, in my opinion, who basically is under control of themselves. They control their energy, and they can transmute it for purposes that their creator wanted them to have in protecting, providing to this nation, to their families, and things like that. So that, to me, is a masculine male who can control themselves in all types of situations. And so that's not an easy thing to do, but we're learning and getting there little by little. Ninjamon AKA, looking young, thank you. I appreciate that, my friend. Glory be God. I keep saying JLRY, but I figured out it was glory to be God. Thank you, my friend. Brother Boldly, music official. Thank you. Val Plays 2.0. Alberto Medina, don't give up, my friend. Keep going. Keep going. Volk 4200, AG, RIP the headphones. Sorry, my friends. The reason I do this, and you guys have been with me for a long time, you know that we're in a battle. I'm going to continue to give the battle cry until we have gotten more than 1%, hopefully 20%, 30%, 40% of people to understand that we are in a war. And if we need to wake everybody up to get people in the war, we're going to do that. So don't take offense to my screaming, my battle cry. It's a battle cry for a war, and we need to get to a war level. And if you don't want to listen, then it's up to you. I appreciate your feedback. I'm not going to certainly just cancel anybody out or anything like that because of it. You can listen if you want to. You don't have to listen if you don't want to. But the bottom line is, I'm not going to stop that battle cry until we have vanquished this problem and getting back to the way things used to be when it came to this issue. Spirituals, what does clear eyes mean? We'll talk about that in another one. I like what you're talking about there. But again, as we look at trying to overcome this problem that we have, our mind gets really kind of mushy, I guess I could say, is when it comes to pornography and images and things like that. And you can see that through the eyes. And once the eyes get more, the brain is functioning more, the eyes are functioning more, the whole body functions more, you see more life in a person. And clear eyes is something that you'll see more of when a person is at a point where they're becoming more masculine, they're clear, they look great, they look aura, they have a great aura, things like that. They look like a zombie when they're not, and so you can see the difference. Dirtymint, thank you. Felix, mcdade, thank you. TKO, Sydneysxmson, thank you. Jon the Dawn and Cameron Vaughn, 15 months. Keep it up, my friend. All right, so we have an interesting one here. At the 3-minute and 50-second mark here, our topic is going to focus on strategies and ideas to overcome the problem that we have here of, fapping, how to overcome this. Somebody mentioned to me, I think it was Alberto, talked about that he was dead. And so we're going to name this one, How to Rise from the Dead with Semen Retention, because many people are out there in this situation. And so this one kind of goes out to all those people like Alberto and other people who, and like myself, who was just kind of walking around like zombies for a long time until you can actually get to the point where now you have a purpose for living. You have your energy level is different. You become superhuman. You're able to control yourself. You're able to control those things and not give in to temptation every minute of the day and get yourself worse in trouble and give up, and hopelessness, depression, all those things come along with that. So let's talk about this for a little bit. So if we're talking about whether you're married or not, and a lot of this times this actually goes into being married, and I've been married for almost 30 years myself, a little bit over 30 years, and it is temptation. There's a lot of temptation out there. Whether it's just basically to watch pictures, whether it's to let yourself go and eat too much food, whether it's to gamble, to do drugs, tempted sleeping with other people, affairs, things like this. There's a lot of temptation out there. The key to all this, my friends, is to get a handle on what you're trying to achieve here. And again, when I look at my notes here, what you're trying to do is almost rewire your brain. So warriors are trying to rewire your brain to focus on looking at things in a different way. Obviously, because of the habit-forming things that we look at, you've watched media enough, you've watched television, you've talked to people enough. You look at all these pictures of women who are naked, I'm talking men now, and focusing on having intercourse, because our basic nature as a male is to look at visually pictures and get intrigued and excited from those type of things. But how you react to them is the key. And when we talk about this whole idea, you have to rewire your brain a little bit to focus on this. And so I got a couple of different suggestions here, because people have been asking me a lot with this thing. We're talking about trying to kind of look at this and direct. Obviously, Alberto was the key one that I noticed, because I want to kind of direct it out to Alberto a little bit, and other people who are suffering from this idea that they do need help. We need help, because this is an issue that we start to feel hopeless with. We feel like we can't accomplish anything. We can't stop it, but you can. And the whole key is to realize you have a lot more power than you think. You have a lot more control than you think. The key is going to be to try to rewire yourself. What I mean by that is think about things differently than you have. So let's look at a couple examples here. For instance, if you know that you have a lot of time to spend on things, and you're working hard, you're doing things, but then you have a period of time during the day where you're off or you have free time. And at least at the beginning of all this, what I would recommend is going ahead and finding things to do, activities, during those key times where you have released before. My problem was late at night, and so I solved a lot of that by going to bed, meditating, but then not doing anything, going to bed, not watching any shows and the images, TV, movies, things like that. I stopped doing that, and I kind of vanquished that part of the issue, because that habit takes about 21 days either way, good or bad. And so you form that habit over a period of time. If you feel like, for instance, that you always tend to have a free time at 8 o'clock at night, and that's a period of time that you want to go ahead and stop it and say, okay, I'm going to do something else at this period of time, then you start getting out of the habit of doing that releasing. And that's one thing. So change up your schedule, change your plans, change your schedule, so that you're actually focusing on other things and keeping as busy as you can, at least for a couple weeks, so that you're able to kind of start that process of changing the habit into doing something else. Now, the second thing you want to do is you want to rewire your brain and also focus on your eyes. So there's a technique that we talk about, and that talks about bouncing your eyes, and I've seen this in research a couple different times. Redirect your gaze. So if you see something that it looks enticing, a young lady walking by with shorts on, especially now in the summertime, and we'll do one on the summertime too pretty soon. But the summertime, focusing on a woman who looks, she doesn't have a lot of clothes on and she looks attractive. As soon as you see that, bounce your eyes differently. Get away from that, okay? Don't glare. The Bible talks about that the birds can fly, over your head, and there's going to be women around you all over the place, pictures all around you, media, all that kind of stuff. You can't do anything about that, as Stoicism says, but you can do something about how you react to it. You do not want the birds to nest in your head, to become something that you're dwelling on and thinking about and fantasizing about, all those type of things. So bounce your eyes away from that person and look at something else. And all of a sudden now you start getting away from that idea of trying to be transposed onto looking at the woman. And that's gonna help you with at least dealing with part of this issue. Okay? So obviously change your plans, bouncing your eyes. The other thing that someone did, which I thought was wonderful as well, another suggestion I've seen, is reprimand yourself. Every time you have these type of thoughts, catch yourself and say, look, I don't want to do this. This is not me. I'm not going to do this. So you kind of yell at yourself a little bit inside and say, no, I'm not doing this. And that's another aspect to do it. The fourth one I want to focus on here as you're rewiring your brain, and especially if you're married, focusing on your wife, but also the key thing is that the way you look at women. So, and this is the same thing applies for women with men. So one of the ways that you have to kind of look at it, and I know somebody used to say that they looked at everybody as being skull and bones, and obviously they were not attracted to skull and bones, so they wouldn't be affected by that. I would say the same thing in a sense that I heard that one of the theories and suggestions is that as you look and see women, think of them as one of three things: your mother, your daughter, or sister. And so if you think of women that way and you keep saying to yourself, okay, these women are either my mother, sister, or brother, mother, sister, or daughter, then all of a sudden you look at them differently. And this is just something in your brain that's rewired differently, that this is, wow, this is my mom, I'm not attracted to my mom. This is my daughter, I'm not going to be attracted to my daughter. And this obviously then is my sister, and of course I'm not going to be attracted to my sister. So those three things get you away from doing this. So I would say go ahead then and focus on looking at each person as an individual and focusing on trying to say, okay, how can we go ahead and look at this differently? Don't look at this as a beautiful young woman. Look at this as someone saying, okay, this is a daughter, sister, or mother. Now, I will tell you the flip side of all this, because of your retention, because you're on top of your game and you're getting better and better, and you're controlling things better, women smell the retention. They smell who you are. You're going to be one of those 1% that we're talking about in this club. So you're going to get a lot more attention and a lot more attraction. You're going to get women who are going to come after you. And that, in a sense, is a good thing because you can find someone you really want at that point because they like you, and they're going to, because of cognitive dissonance, they're not going to give you up that easily because it means they were wrong and they don't want to be wrong. If you chase them, then it's a different story. But if they're chasing you and they picked you, then that's something that is a good thing when it comes to finding somebody you want. On the other end of it, the temptation is always very great. You're going to have a lot of temptation because the women are going to be coming after you, and your mind is focusing on other things, getting better, getting your goals achieved, and all those things. So it's not that easy to all of a sudden get hit with something. But remember, some of these techniques, when you see a woman, think about a mother, daughter, sister, bouncing your eyes away, okay, and focus on different things. Now, of course, you find a person that you want to be with, you want to spend time with, obviously show her the love and affection. That's a little different situation. Still, no releasing, in my book, until you're actually ready to have children. Because remember, we talked about that, the death of that masturbation. I mean, if you do those type of things you're releasing, whether it's with a woman or by yourself, you're still taking energy away from yourself. So the key is to continue to develop relationships, friendships, those type of things. If you find somebody, you want to have children, that's great, but everything is not based on having sex. And that's something that I think the Stoic person, the Brahmacharya, the Semen Retention person, celibacy, the continence person, they all recognize that that's not that important thing that we thought it was. But again, also reprimand yourself if things go bad and things like that. So again, you can rise from the dead, my friends, and everybody who's been talking about this and trying to get better and keep day by day, we're all kind of dead people walking for a long time. And all of a sudden we're changing and we're getting better. And as we get better, the whole idea is that we will continue to grow as time goes on. All right, friends, hope you enjoyed this one. We're going to talk about a few other ones as we go along. I will go back to Spiritus asked about the masculine men. We'll talk more about that. Another one, how to distance yourself more from women, how to handle people who dominate you, yin and yang. There's a lot of other ones that I want to kind of focus as we go through. You guys are giving some good ideas here, but I wanted to kind of get to this one when I had a chance. All right, 2 things, my friend, before I let you go. 1, every day is a new day to a great warrior. And number 2, guys, it's coming. So if you guys want to get your headphones and take them off, you can. The main thing is we need to continue to fight that devil and to battle